Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Alright, so we got Elvis at Jenner's Heart. The first one we watched was pretty awesome, hearing about his stories and what he's done for people, giving away houses, cars, to friends, families, maids. But we're going to see how far his generosity can reach, So, without further ado, let's get right to it, guys. 3, 2, 1. Hit that play button.
January 1935. It's the heart of the Great Depression in Tupelo, Mississippi. Elvis Aaron Presley is born to Vernon and Gladys Presley. He is a twin. His brother, Jesse Garrett, is stillborn, dead at birth, leaving Elvis to grow up as an only child. His father, Vernon, is a sharecropper and the family is poor, often lacking the most basic necessities of life.
Jeez.
I don't think anyone realizes how poor the Presleys really were. It was the late 1930s, it was the Great Depression in Mississippi, and they were just living in abject poverty. Vernon couldn't even pay back the $180 he borrowed to build the house.
Wow, 180 bucks. That poor?
I got the key to the highway, and out I'm bound to go. Gonna leave.
In 1948, Vernon moves his family to Memphis, Tennessee, where he feels his job prospects will be much better. Vernon finds work in a paint factory and Gladys becomes a nurse's assistant.
Wow.
The Presley family moves
Good way to
into
pick
a
up the money.
low-income apartment complex. Although their circumstances are vastly improved from the abject poverty they lived in while in Tupelo, the Presleys are still quite poor, and Elvis grows up knowing what it's like to want and need. Fate, however, has placed young Elvis in the right place at the right time.
Look
They
at
were very
Elvis.
poor. I mean,
Why is his
they
lip
were
so
dirt
red?
poor when they were coming up out of Tupelo, Mississippi. And Elvis lived in the housing project. The high school we went to was not a rich high school.
Oh wow, he knew him in high school.
But we made it. But the point being, they were very poor.
From the time he was a young boy, Elvis loved music. He was profoundly influenced by the gospel music he heard in church, and for the rest of his life, gospel would always remain Presley's favorite music.
Wow.
In school, both in
It
elementary
inspired him.
school and high school, Elvis was somewhat of an outcast and
You
loner.
have a gun?
While in high school, Elvis was often ridiculed by the other kids for the clothes he wore, his slicked down hair,
Wow,
and
that's messed
the
up.
fact that he often walked around with his guitar strapped to his back. He played football in high school and sang in school shows.
That's why he's so good at his craft.
More than anything else in his life, music
Wow,
was
look at
a
Elvis.
passion for young Elvis. In music,
He looked like Clark Kent, all he needs is the glasses.
he saw hope for a better future.
Elvis and I met in
Imagine Elvis playing as Superman. Wouldn't that be cool? If he didn't die, who knows what would have happened? I know Christopher Reeve was Superman, but what if if Elvis was still alive? Would he be featured even in hero movies? Like, it would have been so awesome if he was alive, guys. Imagine.
1948 at Hume's High School in Memphis, Tennessee. Ironically and coincidentally, we were in the exact same classes together. He moved up from Tupelo, Mississippi. I was already in the school. And we went all the way through high school together. But where we bonded was in that 8th grade music class. It was Christmas time, and Elvis brought his guitar to school, which was uncool at that time for a 12-year-old to bring a guitar to school in 1948. And he got in front of the class.
Is that Elvis? Did they make an Elvis statue when he was young?
Music class, and sang 2 country songs.
Walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on. I say walk on. I'm gonna keep I find my way back home.
As Elvis got
Like
older,
that.
he often went
Harmonica.
to the nightclubs on Memphis's legendary Beale Street. These clubs were the home of the black rhythm and blues singers who had come north from the Mississippi Delta. Young Elvis was profoundly influenced by these artists. Quite often, Elvis would go
That's
over to a
interesting.
place
That's
called
cool, actually.
Shakedown, which was the black neighborhood near his apartment complex.
Influenced.
There, he would sit on the porches and listen to the men play their guitars and harmonicas and sing the blues.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? He wasn't even. I mean, I'm sure he was influenced by his own peers, by his own race. But man, music has. I just want to say, like, music has no race. Like, come on. I enjoy all types of music. Actually, I'll be listening to like Indian music, um, uh, w- Spanish. There's not even Chinese. Asian. Like their type of music. I enjoy all types. I have a wide range of a playlist. So
All these experiences would have an enormous and lasting impact on Elvis as a singer and
like I said,
performer.
man.
In 1953, Elvis walked into the Sun recording studios in Memphis. He recorded an old country song called My Happiness.
Ah,
Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Studios and Sun Records, heard the recording and at first was not very impressed. But Phillips'
yikes.
secretary,
Not
Marion
impressed.
Keister, was impressed with Elvis
He
and
probably
made her boss listen to the recording again and again. Sam
again,
Phillips
again.
gradually became very intrigued by the boy's raw talent.
Yep.
About a year after Elvis first walked into Sun Studios,
Cool.
Sam Phillips contacted Elvis to record a song for possible release on the small Sun record label. At first, the recording session didn't go well, as Elvis just couldn't connect vocally with the songs Phillips had chosen for him. Then, one of the background
yeah.
musicians suggested Elvis sing a classic rhythm and blues song called That's All Right. That's All Right, recorded
I want to hear that song.
on July 5th, 1954, is considered by most music historians and fans as the true birth of rock and roll music in America.
What?
He was born up in Memphis, Tennessee.
You just hear what this man said? You forget we got Chuck Berry. That's a bold statement. That's tough because I do remember that Elvis is influenced too by Chuck Berry as well. Surprised they didn't mention that. Now they did mention obviously he was inspired or influenced when he was growing up. He used to see those guys at the clubs, so that is interesting. But yeah, I don't know, man. Chuck Berry is a contender, I would say. I mean, I don't know who first started the rock, but I mean, if you want to say Elvis, I mean, I'm not gonna argue. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, there is a contender out there.
He was exposed to the country music here. He was exposed to Beale Street rhythm and blues music. And so when he combined, like Elvis said, when he combined that along with gospel, it came out rock and roll. And that's just the way he was brought up.
When you talked to Uncle Sam, and we used to go over to Uncle Sam's house,
So
he used to grill hamburgers out for us and things like that. And you'd hear him talking things like that. Say in the 60s, yeah, I think he definitely realized what he was doing and what a statement he had made with Sun Records. But when he first started, I think he just was wanting to cut good music. I mean, he just wanted to record great music. I mean, he wasn't trying to change the
man, Elvis is a genius. I don't know his IQ, but genius.
world at that time. If you look at the first music he recorded, it was mostly blues. I mean, few people know he first recorded B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Bobby Bland, Rufus Thomas. Hardly anyone really knows that except the true fans.
I only know Muddy Water.
And then Elvis popped up, and it was those same guys, except it was a white guy. And he could sing just like they could. But I still didn't think he wasn't trying to do anything but really cut really good records. It's just what's in the grooves. It's always been what's in the grooves. And if it's in the groove, that's all he cared about. And Uncle Sam was able to take that raw sound and somehow fill it up to make it sound like it was so much more than what it was. And if you've ever been into 706 Union, it's a small place. So it gives you, not only was he a genius producer, but he was a hell of an engineer to be able to get the sound that he did out of that studio.
Presley, in my opinion, was a
Interview with
person
Sam
probably
Phillips.
with as much talent
Oh, and they stay
vocally
calling him Uncle Sam.
that could be
Wow, look at this.
used with so many different types of songs as I've ever heard of in my life. He didn't follow any one path. He didn't just sing rock and roll, for that rhythm and blues, country. He sang pop. And when you can do that and
Unique.
give it an unbelievable, creditable interpretation, there's something to be said for it. Very few of us
Wow,
could
look
do
how
it.
young
I had
he
a feeling
looks.
from the very
Oh,
beginning
man, I didn't even know that
he
was
had
Elvis.
unusual, real raw talent, and that's what I
Sheesh.
liked. The rawer the better if you had the basics. I felt that if there was anybody that could do an amalgamation of rhythm and blues or race music, as they
My
called it back in
hero.
the 50s and 40s, and country music, and come out with something that was, well, it wasn't even named at the time. People not only enjoyed his work as an artist, but they believed in him as an individual. And also, I think to know that he basically did not change a lot so far as his relations with people. Just the ordinary person on the street was something absolutely imperative to his unbelievable success.
Man, the way they just, like, gave this guy, I mean, gave Elvis, like, high praise. This reminded me of a. It's almost as if Elvis is an iconic hero to people. Like, I'm starting to get it, man. Like, the Elvis fans consider him as a hero to me. Like, I don't know how to put it though. I guess like, I mean, I know you guys are inspired by Elvis and really enjoy his music and his movies, TV shows. This guy was like a modern day superhero. Not and I don't want to say just for music though, because obviously he did all types of stuff though. But it's always gonna be related to, associated to his music. But yeah, he is like a hero. And sometimes, people do say, the songs do save people at times. Especially when you're deep depression and stuff, and you hear music and it helps. So I can stand behind that. I get it. I do listen to some Elvis music and it gets me, through some stuff. So, all right, let's continue.
When Elvis walked out of the Sun Studios on July 5th, 1954, he never could have known that within a very short time, he would become one of the most influential and beloved Americans of the 20th century. Even in his wildest dreams, he could never have imagined what he would accomplish in a short but truly remarkable life.
Short.
Well, since my baby left me,
If it wasn't for Elvis, I'd be selling encyclopedias. Heartbreak Hotel.
It is estimated that Elvis Presley has sold over 1 billion records worldwide.
1
This is
billion
more records than anyone in the
and
history of the
counting.
recording industry. Just in America,
Whoa, look at
Elvis has had
that.
141 albums or singles
He better
certified
have
as
some.
gold, platinum, or multi-platinum.
Wow.
His recordings and films are enjoyed all over the globe, and he
Man,
is
look at that
known
suit.
throughout the world by his first name.
Elvis was
All right, that's it, guys. I'm sorry I gotta cut it. Till next time, though, we'll react to part 3. So there's always more. It's gonna get juicy. But yeah, that's the end of my reaction to Elvis and Generous Heart. Stay tuned. It's getting hot in here. I'm boiling. Apparently, someone cut on the heat. But yeah, I got this headband on, so it's helping with my sweat. But that was awesome. Kind of felt a little sad. It was no longer talking about Elvis doing charity, but I guess the fans were showing their generosity on this one, like their appreciation. So I definitely enjoyed this. Almost a you know, put you in a type of mood, like sad, kind of, really. But yeah, subscribe, guys, if you made it this far. If you are new, obviously, and if you enjoy my reaction, hit the like button. You know, that'd be greatly appreciated. And I'll see all you guys later on the next video and down in the comment section. So yeah, this has been interesting. I'm enjoying these documentaries. But yeah, I'm out of here, guys. Stay tuned.